All right, for just the fourth time since the year 2000, NC State comes to Winston-Salem and they get a win. 2001, 2015, 2023, and now 2025. And this was a dominant performance for the defense in the second half, 34-24, where the defense didn't allow Wake Forest to score at all in the second.
Very similar to last week, right? Where they're down 10 at half and gave up, I think just a touchdown to Virginia in the second half. And in this one, it's a 17-0 shutout in the second half. But the beginning of the game had everything you were worried about, right? Thursday night, first road game, and they returned the opening kick for 6, and then they go up 14-0. But credit to State, they did not flinch.
And here's the thing. This is a Wake Forest team that looked a little shaky the last couple of weeks. I mean, they barely beat Kennesaw State.
Right.
In the
14-13,
week.
yeah.
It was one of those games. So a lot of State fans and a lot of people who were looking at this game were like, okay, NC State probably should come in and dominate this game from the very start. And as you said, it wasn't that case. Of course, an immediate return, 98 yards for a touchdown on the opening kickoff. And then Damon Claiborne punches it in from the 1, and Wake Forest goes up 14-0. And everybody in the press box is like, okay, what's happening here? And then after that, Robbie Ashford starts hitting receivers in stride.
Right.
And that was one of the things when you talk to people who cover Wake Forest, Robbie Ashford is not known for his accuracy. He's known for his deep ball, and he's known for his legs. He's not known for the accuracy. And he looked pretty accurate at first.
Yeah.
And then, Wake Forest started to kind of fall off a little bit, and NC State started taking the control back. I think what really helped them, of course, was the thick six.
Oh, Isaiah Shirley.
From Isaiah Shirley. I think that was a pretty good player.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Doran shouted it out immediately in the press conference. Isaiah Shirley was pumped to get into the press conference. I love it, too, because, he's a former tight end.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he actually played a little bit of tight end his freshman year at NC State, played tight end in high school. So when you see that 88 coming at you, it's coming at you for a reason. And he was like, I just kind of blacked out while I was running, just focusing on staying up. He almost fell a few times. So you got to love the thick six. And it kind of changed the game. I would say it changed the game. But when you talk to NC State, they weren't even really worried because they had come back last week. And this is a team that has learned their lessons from last year when they lost so many one-score games, when they weren't able to finish in so many games, specifically Wake Forest last year, who beat them 34-30 at Carter Finley Stadium. And this year's team has been different from the jump. Dave Doran sold it to us all offseason, and you're kind of like, is this just coach speak? Of course he loves his team. But we are seeing it play out on the field in real time. This is looking like the makings of something potentially special from the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and it could be pretty good for them. We were just talking about their schedule. I mean, basically in their first 6 games, they only leave the state of North Carolina one time to go to Virginia, and that's just over the state line, a little bit more towards the west. So it's not even that long of a trip for them as they have Duke next week, and of course Virginia Tech and Campbell. But a pretty nice opening schedule for them as they can probably get on a roll. If you're a Wake Forest fan, I think you come out of here looking like, okay, our team looked a little bit better than maybe what we thought they'd end up being. One of the things I learned from talking to folks who cover Wake Forest is that Jake Dickard told his guys at the beginning of the year, there are the 3 games that I'm focusing on that we need to win. That's NC State, that's Carolina, and that's Duke.
He understands the assignment.
He understands he wants to win the state. The state championship is what they call it. And so that's why their guys came out so hot. They came out in this game like they wanted to win with their hair on fire. I just think at the end of the day, State was too big, they're too skilled, and the defense just absolutely played like lights out. I mean, Wake Forest barely moved the ball in the second half at all.
NC State's getting better every single week. Like the things that were wrong about them in the opener where they weren't able to finish offensively. Were things that were wrong about them against Virginia where they let Jamari Taylor, former NC Central running back, run all over them.
Yeah.
Tonight, they shut down this dual-headed running game from Wake Forest, from Robbie Ashford and Damon Claiborne, who scored 3 touchdowns last week. 3 touchdowns against them last year. Clearly, that was a big part of the game plan, and those Robbie Ashford deep passes in the first half were probably just a product of the game plan. They didn't ever really say they made any big adjustments in the second half. I think to your point, he just wasn't able to hit them, find them in the second half. And you had people leaving this stadium in the third quarter it felt a little bit like the UNC TCU opener. Even as close as this game was, it did feel like it was over. So I guess I can't blame the Wake fans for being like, I'm out of here. It's Thursday night. I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's Thursday night. And, of course, like, hey, we gave it a good shot in the first half. But speaking of running, Hollywood Smothers. I had to look it up again. 24 carries, 164 yards, 6.8 yards per carry. What an amazing night for him. And I think that was one of the things, too, that when you listen to NC State fans, when were you going to see that game from that guy, from Hollywood Smothers? And some wondered if he was big enough. He's more of a smaller back. He's not the power back that can just ram through guys. This was the perfect coming out party, I think, for him in the game versus Wake Forest with those 164 yards.
Special weapons. I think NC State has a lot of things going for them right now. They have the typical hard, tough together. That's their motto that Dave Doran likes to preach. But I think what's elevating this group beyond just the chemistry that they've established during camp and their character is the skill level talent. They have real game-breaking players. Hollywood Smothers is an NFL caliber running back. There's a lot of NFL caliber running backs out there. He certainly is one of them, though. CJ Bailey, NFL caliber quarterback. Potentially, it's someday maybe a first-round quarterback.
Noah Rogers. Justin Jolie.
At least that level of talent coming out of high school, he hasn't quite shown it yet. Justin Jolie among them. So there's some real skill on this team, and it's not just because everybody knows their names, that the covers and watches the Wolfpack. These are real guys. There's NFL scouts all over the place here tonight. Now, I know it's a Thursday Night Island game, but I think they were out here to see some of these players.
Absolutely. I mean, the press box was full of them. You saw Ravens, Colts, Giants, so many different teams here representing, trying to get the look on these teams. It's going to be interesting also next week when NC State travels not too far to Durham to take on Duke. This is a Duke team that, we have to see what they're going to do versus Tulane. But you know that they have a sour taste in their mouth from their loss last week to Illinois. 5 turnovers in that game, and that's one of the reasons why that game looked as lopsided as it did. I know that was one of those points of emphasis for Manny Diaz this week, so we'll see how they do versus Tulane first. But heading into NC State, same idea here with Wake Forest. It's an in-state rivalry. You don't want to lose against that team. You want to make sure you come away with that win, and that's one of those things that Duke has tried to dominate with. NC State has tried to dominate with as well. So the good thing for NC State, they have an extra few days to get rested and prepare for that game versus Duke, which is going to be tough for their offense for sure.
Dave Doran walking out of the press conference tonight goes, "Enjoy your weekend, everybody." I know I will. So he's definitely going to enjoy these extra couple of days to maybe watch some football and prepare. He's certainly a guy that's feeling it right now, and he should, because all the things he saw in the offseason about this team, all the things he wanted to change about how poorly last season went for a variety of reasons have come to fruition so far, and they needed to early, right, Chris? Because we've talked about the schedule a little bit already. This was a game you can't lose. If you want to be the first NC State team to win 10 wins in whoever knows how long, or the first NC State team to win an ACC championship whoever knows how long, you can't lose to Wake Forest on the road. And this had the makings of a trap game. They came through. They got down to Virginia at home. Another game you can't lose, because at the back end of that schedule, you got the difference-making games, the resume-building games. At Notre Dame, Duke is no slouch. They're potentially a team that can find their way into the top 25 eventually. Who else they got on the schedule? Miami, Georgia Tech.
Pull it up.
Yeah, it's not easy down the stretch, and then they end at North Carolina, which maybe looks certainly winnable right now, but you don't know what that team's going to look like at the end of the year under Bill Belichick.
Pitt, Georgia Tech, Florida State as well, and that's the week before Carolina. So, if you look at that 4-game stretch, Tech, brutal. Georgia Tech, Miami, Florida State, ending with Carolina.
So that's what's going to ultimately define the season. But the start there, it's so much of it comes down to the beginning of the year too, just like how you perform in the key moments. 1-score games are coin flips for a reason, and that ECU game came down to a 4th down stop. To win the game. They came through. If they had lost that game, the fan base was already mad that they won it as close that they did. The Tide was, people were all geared up to, get rid of Dave Doran. We've seen this X number of years over and over and over again. 13 years in, nothing's changed. Maybe it has. Maybe this is finally the team.
Well, also, they're going to have to do it in the first half without Sebastian Hart next week versus Duke. Got a targeting call in this. A little debatable, I guess, by the letter of the law. It was targeting, but also it's kind of felt like it was bang-bang. So we'll see how NC State, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. How NC
Triangle. A lot of teams.
How NC State adjusts without Sebastian Harsh, who's been looking amazing. Him and Kean Sloan look like one of the best, duo edge rushers in the ACC right now. So interesting adjustments that they're going to have to make ahead.
Yeah, I love Kean Sloan. I love Sebastian Harsh. They really knocked it out of the park in the transfer portal, taking those trips out west to bring those guys in here. I thought Caden Fordham, who had a little bit of a tough game against Virginia, performed much better tonight. I think if there's an area to improve, because like I said, they've improved pretty much a lot of their weaknesses every single game. The one that's probably lacking right now is the pass rush still. Now, maybe some of that tonight was part of the game plan to contain a mobile QB like Robbie Ashford was running the read option where you kind of have to stay in your lanes. But that's really the secret sauce is like the defense has been great situationally. The defense has been great in the second half. If they could get a little bit more pass rush, put 4 quarters together, I mean, what more can you want?
Did it very well in the home of Krispy Kreme donuts. Wolfpack made sure that the Wake Forest Demon Deacons put up a donut in the second half by shutting them out and ended up winning 34-24. I guess that'll do it for us right here in Winston-Salem. They put a little extra hot sauce on it too, and this is the home of Texas Pete too. So I had to throw everything in.
You're making me hungry, Chris. I stopped at Waffle House on the way home from Charlotte the other night, so we might have to. Is Krispy Kreme open at this hour?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Taping is at 12:33. We're about to find out.
All right, we'll find out. Maybe a Waffle House. Maybe also a Sheetz. I know Sheetz.
All of the above.
Yes.
Good night, everybody from Winston-Salem.